Well, hello, friends. TexAgs Rewind with Kay and Kennedy. David Nuno here. We are wearing shirts from CC Creations. You've got the boot special.
Yep. Boots.
That's not how you did it earlier, dude. The way you did it earlier.
Tyrese Radford.
Thank you very much.
What in the world? I got Wade Taylor the fourth.
Manny Obaseki on mine. The reason I wanted you two here was I'm always shocked how you haven't watched anything ever. And you surprised me with your knowledge a little bit.
I am cultured.
You knew Rocky a little bit.
Yes.
Not a lot, but a little.
A little.
You knew The Godfather.
The Godfather, yes.
You don't know anything.
No.
I had to tell her who the Beatles were.
Just Creed.
Because of Michael B. Jordan.
I don't know. I'm just so behind in my...
You don't think if you, like, honestly, if I gave you an assignment to watch Rocky 4, you don't think you'll come out a better person afterwards?
I mean, is it that life-changing?
Yeah.
It's quite life-changing.
Tell them what I told the world what happened after Rocky 4.
The Cold War stopped.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rocky Balboa
Ended.
fixed it. If
Because
we can do it, we can all do it. If you can do it, I can do it.
Isn't that the one where he trained like in the snow?
With a beard.
Yep.
Yeah.
My problem with things like that is I just feel like... I don't know when this came out, but
1986.
I just feel like that's like... It's such a hard
Those are the
watch.
best
Let me explain
movies.
to you how advanced Rocky 4 was, and we'll get to the sports here in a minute.
we
Let me
go.
explain to you. He had a personal robot
Okay.
in Rocky 4. We don't have those in 2023, whatever year we're in, like personal robots where you'd say, hey, bring me some coffee. Do, 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 do. It would do that on the on Rocky. That's how advanced it was. So think about that. He drove cars fast with loud music.
So he was
We
just,
still do that.
Yep.
He was just balling.
He was
at
balling.
He was that guy.
He was, yeah.
him.
He was
As
him.
He was
Billy
him.
liked to say.
He was him.
He was him. So I'd like for you to start on 1 and go through
Okay.
and maybe skip 5. But
David Nuno, I may have to just add that on my to-do list.
But if you could just do Rocky 4, and then if
Okay.
you like it, start from the beginning.
Well, I think she needs to get a little cultured in the Rocky like traditions and like watch 1 and then she can skip to 4.
But Rocky 1, to me, unless you're like really into like a good movie, like then you can deal with a little slowness. I think your generation needs something fast and action.
Yeah, so
I
true.
lose.
Right?
I lose attention. My attention span's very short. So.
And if you like it, maybe you watch Action Jackson with
All
Carl
right.
Weathers.
Nuno, you just make a list. I'll start writing them.
Now we'll get to the sports. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bank on it during the go hour. I banked on a lot of Aggie basketball stuff. You'll have to watch it to remember, or for me to remember. Aggie basketball versus Kentucky, Rupp Arena. How many people go there? 23,000, 23,500?
20-something.
Yeah, 23,500. Dennis Dodd was on the show, CBS Sports. You guys liked him?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Always.
Were you paying attention?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then Aaron Torres, faux show. Aaron Torres was on the show too from Fox Sports Radio and Aaron Torres Online. It is TexAgs Rewind. Right now it is time for Bank on It. Presented by Vera Bank, authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. OB, what are we banking on?
How do you not be just convinced that this basketball team is going to be special with the way they're playing?
Yeah.
So I'm banking on another tremendous defensive effort out of this team. I don't know that they're going to keep Kentucky to 18 points, but I think they're going to keep Kentucky in that first half to 25 points or less, just like they've done everybody else. And I'm banking on a victory at Rupp Arena.
Yeah. I expect the defense to. This is not what I'm banking on, but I'm just going to follow up with what you're saying. I expect your defense of comment to be true, and I also expect because of that, Kentucky is going to get so frustrated with it, it'll be a big issue. But I'm banking on Boots and Wade having a 30-point combined performance. The other guys can still do their thing, but those two are going to give us 30 again.
I'm here for it. Nothing like 4 on the floor. Go fast.
Right. Go on the floor. Let's go. Let's talk about this Kentucky game because they're an interesting team because they have this label. They're Kentucky, right? And we have this, especially under Cal, this expectation of these young studs and that, yes, they may fizzle out recently in the NCAA tournament, but they're Kentucky. They struggled. Unfortunately, they're starting to win again. So how difficult is this Kentucky matchup for A&M?
Well, Kentucky's always a difficult matchup just because of the sheer talent. Oftentimes, I mean, look, guys, they're 10-1 at home. So yes, they've struggled, but I mean, 1-3 on the road, 1-2 at neutral site games. They're kind of in that middle tier of the conference right now, but that's a staple of a Calipari team. They're always going to be young, and usually they put it all together after Christmas. Kind of like Buzz's teams a little bit, except that they're all 18 years old and 5 stars, right? And so when it comes to Kentucky, I'm always wary. But I do think it's an incredible opportunity because I think by the end of the year, they'll be playing top 25 basketball like they almost always do. And this will be a quad one win if we could go get it in Rupp. But it will be no easy task. Don't get it confused. I mean, Oscar Schwebwe he's incredible. Preseason player of the year, obviously, averaging, 17 a game, I think. It'll be a tough test. But it's a lot easier to go get excited about that after going 5-0 to start in conference. So I'm excited about Saturday. I mean, I think it's a great litmus test.
So what is it like to play there at Rupp? What is the environment like? You played there, right?
Yeah. It's loud. So, I mean, you don't realize, I think it's the biggest blue blood I played at, right? So, I mean, I played at Gonzaga. We played North Carolina in Charlotte, played Arizona in Phoenix, went to Kansas. Kansas was probably the best in terms of just sheer environment. 2 hours before the game, the whole place is darn near packed out, just absolutely raucous. Kentucky, it just overwhelms you with the sheer size of the place. I forget what the number is. It's like 18 or 19, 20,000 people. And it's just diehard basketball fans. It's like A&M for football it's on even steroids from that. These people, they live it, they breathe it, and they love it. And so, it's a really tough place to play. But they're Kentucky for a reason, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you'd expect that at a program that's won that many games and titles. So.
What do you 100% agree? Dennis Dodd with us here on TexAgs Radio. Dennis, let's talk a little bit about, so there was a time where, we knew that OU and Texas were going to leave the Big 12 for the SEC, but the Big 12 wanted to hold on to them as long as possible for financial reasons. But now you're saying that maybe it would help them financially if they were to leave earlier.
Yeah, as time goes on, the situation becomes clearer. There's going to be a window that closes here where Texas and OU are going to have to stay. I know the Big 12. I don't want to say the Big 12 is working with them because they're off on their own. Texas and OU. They've obtained the services of Alan Gold, who's very good. The SEC media advisor. He's well known to try to work out a deal. And there are two things here. Not only would the Big 12 get termination fee money, that's what I wrote about yesterday. Maybe as much as $16 million per school. Of the 8 schools that moved on, not counting Texas and Oklahoma, that would help make them whole. But in that sense, you'd have to make Fox whole because Fox will be losing that programming. And I'm not a TV maven, but I think I saw one time where 14 of the 15 top Big 12 broadcasts involved either Texas or Oklahoma or both. That's hard to make up because the trade would be, as it was described to me, games for currency in that sense. And so Fox would have to be made whole in the sense that they would have to get a series of non-conference games of Texas and Oklahoma playing in the SEC at Big 12 venues. That, I don't know, can be worked out.
But they're also, the third SEC West team? Because, I mean, it's just that loaded.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you look at the SEC, and I've said it for years, but I mean, you look at the SEC, and people talk so much about how good it is in football, but it is even way better in baseball. I mean, when you look at this league top to bottom, you're trying to find teams that you don't think are going to be that good. I mean, you look at the bottom of the league, and you look at Kentucky and Missouri. Those two clubs have talent. You look at teams like Mississippi State who won a national championship 2 years ago, Auburn who's been to Omaha 2 of the last 3 years, and those are teams in that 9 to 11 range. So this is just a very good league. And yeah, I was on an Arkansas radio show the other day, and it said the good news is the Hogs are 8th. The bad news is we're the 6th place team in the SEC going into the season. So at the end of the day, it's really exciting for the fans. But it's certainly nerve-wracking for Schloss and company and for other coaches, every other coach in this league, that you can be that good, and it honestly may not matter.
Talking to Kendall Rogers here on TexAgs Radio. So, Kendall, how does being hunted, because they will now be one of the teams that people are attacking, the LSUs, the Tennessees, the A&Ms, how does that change the mindset for A&M?
I think the biggest thing is you just have to be ready to roll every time out. I feel like when you look at A&M last year, it's hard to poke holes in a team that finished in the Final Four. But if you look at A&M last year, there were some times where they played with fire a little bit, especially in the middle, late in the game. From a pitching standpoint, there were a lot of games last year that I felt like they kind of waited till the bitter end to kind of get rolling. You look at the Louisiana Lafayette game and the regional, they kind of started figuring things out in the middle innings. You look at, Louisville, they got some big hits late. And I just think if you're A&M and you're Schloss, like your message this year is, hey, like we had an amazing year, but let's get off to a little bit of a faster start in some of these big games because you know what? Teams are going to be ready for us. Teams are going to want to beat our brains in. And if we wait till the sixth inning to get a rally going, we may be too far behind to be able to sustain that rally.
Talking to Kendall Rogers here on TexAgs Radio. Kendall, let's talk about this rotation. How do you think it shakes out with some of the guys coming back and maybe a new guy?
Yeah, I really think when you look at A&M from a pitching standpoint, this is going to be a much better unit. I'll be very honest with you. I thought, Nate Yeske did a really nice job considering what he had last year. It wasn't great at times, but, that pitching staff's way better than it probably should have been by the end of the season. But, I think when you look at Nathan Detmer, he is kind of the X factor. I know that sounds like lazy to say, but I think there were times last year where Nathan was really good. And I think there were times last year where we all, look back and go, Nathan wasn't very good. He wasn't very consistent. And I think this year, Detmer is going to go from a guy who was 90, 94 with his fastball, a little inconsistent with his breaking ball, to a guy that's going to be more 93, 97. He's up to 98 in the fall with his fastball. He's not going to sit there, but he was up to 98. I think his secondary stuff's going to get better. And so you've got him at the front of the rotation. I think Chris Cortez, we all saw him throw some pretty important innings for the Ags last year. Obviously a big arm. I think he's going to continue making strides with that cutter, the breaking ball. I think he's going to have a really nice year. And then after that, you look at Troy Watson, the Purdue transfer, and again, you're looking at a lefty who didn't have great numbers last year, but you're talking about a guy who's a lefty up to 93, 94. You can buy stock into that. And in terms of a new pitcher, I would keep my eye on. Keep an eye on Justin Lampkin, the talented freshman. He's a big-time left-handed pitcher. He commands us really well. And, out of all kind of the new arms, I think he's a guy that can make a big impact.
Slay.
If you don't think we're using that
Oh,
in this
that's
outro,
it. That's it.
if you don't think,
Slay.
so this is the outro. Between you two, tell the people what to do.
Slay.
There you go. Slay the day.
Slay the day. A.
Slay the day.
B. Like. C.
C.
Comment. D. Subscribe.
And you didn't know how to use the
No,
microphone
I don't
apparatus.
sit. I'm not important enough yet to sit at this desk.
She had me fix it for her.
Yeah.
But now you know how to work it. So
Yep.
we're good.
Perfect.
TexAgs Rewind. Thank you.